it's always the case that when we do kind of a targeted email campaign, the people who were kind of sitting and observing, they're like, oh, they'll take action this time, or they'll take action 3 months from now. Like they'll take action at some point. And if not, if you're writing quality content in your emails that's aligned with the programs, then they're also just learning something. And that's fine too. Like I don't mind if somebody never buys anything from me and they're just learning along the way and helping their patients, that's okay too.
Hello, Peaceful Millionaires. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have Million Dollar Emailer, Dr. Jessica Drummond, on the podcast to talk about her experience with the program. Please introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. Yes, so I founded a company, about 16, 17 years ago called the Integrative Women's Health Institute. And for that time, we've been working with clients directly. We work with women with complex chronic illness, usually in the midlife stage, although we start younger, anything from endometriosis to MCAS, POTS, long COVID increasingly, things like that, and then everything through the menopause transition. And and also what we've prioritized in that time is focus on training my colleagues and other women's health and wellness professionals around the world and aspiring women's health and wellness professionals around the world, because I've been doing this clinically and from a coaching lens for almost 25 years now. And so it felt important to me to bring this perspective to my colleagues, not just kind of like stay in my own little silo.
Yeah, so you have a lot of certificate programs. I know that focus on menopause and endometriosis and just other things too, functional medicine and chronic illness. And they're all high ticket, around the 1997 range. So, what was your experience with email before joining Million Dollar Email?
Well, I've always done a lot of email marketing, but what I was starting to make a decision about in the middle, or kind of in the mid to end of last year, was should we started a podcast about a year ago, or maybe a little bit longer. I think we've had 60 episodes now, something like that. And I was trying to figure out, did I want to amplify my visibility, if you will, on social media? But the reality is that most of our conversion at some level comes through email. I like writing email. I like writing in general. And we have a really, pretty strong email list, a lot of responsiveness with that list. And honestly, I'm at a stage in my career, I've been doing this for a long time, where I'm trying to simplify my life. And I just don't think it's that healthy for me to spend too much time on social media. Now, I do have some support with that from a social media intern, but I feel like even if someone is managing your social media, if you are the kind of face of the brand, you really need to be very visible on social media quite regularly. It's not required, but it's certainly helpful. And I just made a decision that I didn't want to, put a ton of focus on that and be tied to that. Rather, let's make what's working work even better.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to, before we even get into it, Dr. Jessica has submitted $250,000 in email sales since joining the program, which is incredible. And I'm excited to talk about your journey because it just shows how successful you've been. But also something that we were talking about in the green room was how she averages 100K a month. Without social media. Like, I want you all to hear that. Without social media, 100K a month. That's insane. And so you would also mention, like, you had stopped submitting email sales, which happens all the time. And so there's even more not accounted for. But something that you said that intrigues me is that the majority of your sales have always come from email. So why join an email program?
I really believe that just because you're good at something. So I'm always telling my students, just because you're good at something, you don't have to do it. But if you like it and it's giving results, why not just get better at that rather than adding a lot more stuff, especially from a business standpoint, that you don't need. There's thousands of ways to market your practice. They all work if you commit to them consistently. I've done a lot of speaking in my career. I've traveled a lot speaking. I've written books. we have that podcast, we have a small social media footprint, but rather than learning a whole new skill, just take what works and do it better. And what's been really interesting about being a part of this program is that I've always written a lot of my copy, although originally when we set up some of this, I did have a person who was running marketing for my team who was very good, but just not at the same level of aligning. I think what you do so well is aligning the course, like what we actually are trying to help people achieve, with each individual email in a really targeted way. And what that actually has happened for us in the last month or two is I actually think the courses are getting better, because I'm kind of going back and making myself like, what is this module of the course trying to accomplish for the students, and giving them extra tools to get it done, get the implementation smoother, make it easier for them to implement it with their clients. And then I can talk about it in the emails. Like, look, we have all this cool stuff for you.
I love that you said that, because something that we say in the curriculum is we literally say, if you don't have something that you think will sell a client or help a client and you want to write an email about it, add it to your offer. Like, you should be improving your offer through your writing, because you're now knowing what results they want. And if your offer doesn't give them that result for some reason, you got to fix your offer. And B, it also helps you, like you said, like knowing what you're really giving to people, and then how can I improve it and make it even better? What do I need to add? What do I need to take away? All of that. Or like, what is the true purpose of this module? So good. So good. So another thing that is inevitably going to come up, do you work with other doctors? I know you have practitioners in general, but like, do you have a large doctor audience, would you say?
I would say our audience is some physicians. We have a lot of physical and occupational therapists, nutritionists, nurse practitioners, and PAs, many health coaches, wellness professionals, fitness, massage therapy, midwives. We have all kinds of disciplines, many specialties, all women's health. So we have gynecology, we have primary care.
What I'm hearing is busy, high demand professionals. Like,
oh, for sure.
High professionals. And the number one thing people tell me for that specific audience, right? Whether it's lawyers or doctors or, even just healthcare in general, whatever it is, it's a high demand professional. They always say, my people do not want to get emails. So how have you made that? Like, what's your secret?
Well, I'm a busy clinician myself and coach, and I would prefer to have more in my inbox that I'm like, work is work. Social media, honestly, if I could get rid of my phone entirely, I would. Like I think it helps professionals who are really busy prefer to have more boundaries, and they're not going to really take action on social media. They're going to be nurtured. You're going to get a bigger footprint. There's some benefits to social media, but I really think that professionals respond to email because they're in their inbox for work.
Yeah. That's what I always say. I'm like, there's nowhere else you'll find them but the inbox. But what about the people that don't like to get a lot of emails in their inbox because they're so busy?
I mean, my perspective is, I guess they're just deleting them.
That's me too. I say the same thing. I'm like, they're just going to archive them.
Right. I mean, I get a lot of emails that especially from like, let's say colleagues or products or services that align with my work. If I'm not interested in it, I'll just eventually unsubscribe. If I'm someday interested in it, I'll just either put it in a folder or just keep them coming until I have the time to deal with it. But I don't really worry about that. I don't look at like how many people have joined. Well, I look generally at how many people are joining our list, but I don't really focus on like one person unsubscribed. Like, I've been running this company for 16 years. I have no idea. We have people that have been on our list for the whole time. We've had people been active in programs for the whole time. And we've had people that just joined a week ago and then started their program. So I don't really get attached to that at all. I don't even really track it at any serious level.
And what I'm actually hearing is that you're not getting hate mail. About it.
No, I'm definitely not getting hate mail. And honestly, we have a support team. So even if I was getting hate mail, they probably wouldn't send it to me.
Totally, totally. But that's the big concern is that people are like, oh, they're going to blow up my inbox and they're going to unsubscribe. They get so many unsubscribes and get so many. And what I want you all to hear is like, this is what thinking like a CEO is like, right? Because I say all the same things. You know this in the curriculum. I'm like, why would you even look at those things? You should be focusing on the next email and getting the next client and converting who's on your list. Like, we don't even look at unsubscribes. We don't look at opens. We don't look at clicks. We're not looking at those things because that's not, yeah, it's just not any concern because you'll spin yourself out over it.
For sure. And I think, the people that are interested in your stuff ever come check it out, just like you do with anything. If they're not interested immediately, then if they just unsubscribe, that's fine. It actually kind of saves us money because we don't have to carry them on our list. And if they are interested, but they're just waiting, this is the opportunity for email to nurture them. So that's what's helped me kind of lean in and really optimize the programs, keep reminding them about them. It's always the case that when we do kind of a targeted email campaign, the people who were kind of sitting and observing, they're like, oh, they'll take action this time, or they'll take action 3 months from now. Like they'll take action at some point. And if not, if you're writing quality content in your emails that's aligned with the programs, then they're also just learning something. And that's fine too. Like, I don't mind if somebody never buys anything from me and they're just learning along the way and helping their patients, that's okay too.
Great. Yeah, exactly. Something that you said in your 25% MVP application, which for those that don't know, that's our rewards program when you either increase your sales by 25% or replace 25% of your income with email. You said focusing on millionaire mindset was really helpful for you. What piece of that was the most helpful? Like, tell us about that.
Well, I think this perspective that, so as I said, late last year, I was like, okay, how can we make this company as simple, as streamlined, and as effective for our students as we possibly can, with it being simpler for me? And one of the things I think you really emphasize is, look, if you have 10 hours a day or 3 hours a day, if you're very focused on the most important things, which I completely agree with, the most important things are what you just said, like talking to the people that are ready to hear you right now, you can get a lot done very quickly and then just turn it off. And you've said in some of your, podcast, I've listened to some of your other content podcasts around burnout. Like some of the most important thing is to just stay really boundaried with the amount of time you're working, because a lot of that is more about your own stuff of like what productivity looks like, or how much time you should be working, than what you actually need to do to achieve your work goals. And it's something I'm really working on this year. And I think how you explain it is just very simple, but very effective.
Yeah, I really truly believe that email is the foundation of $1 million business because it forces you to start thinking at a higher level because you're doing the most efficient, high converting marketing strategy. And then if you want, it's social media optional. So if you want to use social media, you would just repurpose if you want to. Like, you're just working smarter, not harder. It's that first, I notice with my clients, it's really that first decision in their in their business that really starts getting them thinking like a CEO, because it's like, oh yeah, this is the simplest, highest converting tool, and then I can just use it as in my overall content if I want to, and it's even easier to do.
Yeah. And actually, that's made my work on social media simpler because I just take the emails that I write each week. Then basically, I convert it into a carousel copy for my intern. She makes it pretty. And then literally, I'm on social media once a week to do a reel.
Incredible. And that's going to be my next question, actually, because you talked about like productivity. How are you had a copywriter, but it sounds like you're writing your own emails. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a copywriter before, but like I said, I don't mind writing. That's one of the things that I like. And, I do think this helps me really connect our core marketing strategy, which is email marketing, and, social media to drive top level leads, with the actual execution and implementation of the program. Because I've written all the programs in the whole company. I do actually most of the writing and always have, blogs, content, all of that. And I just think writing the emails and aligning it with the course and the goals of the course and the effectiveness of the student meeting those goals, when I'm on kind of both sides of the conversation, it really is a streamlined process. And we have, essentially no customer service challenges.
I love that you went that direction of this idea of like, this is worthy work is what I'm hearing. Like, this is
Mhm.
work I'm supposed to be doing as a high earner. I want everyone to hear this again. So much of my audience is like, I want 100K months. This is how you need to be thinking. If you want to be making money like that, you need to be thinking, what is worthy work? So many people try to outsource too early. And look, what you're saying, you're like, it helps me develop my program and reduce customer service issues and market and sell. So I love that you went that direction, because I think that actually answers the question I was going to ask, which is like, with the big business that you have, how are you productive with your email marketing? And what I'm hearing is that your mindset is, this is worthy work and I need to be here. And when you're thinking that, you're very productive with the work that you're doing, because you're not drudging through it because it's not something you don't want to do.
Agree. I think my role has really streamlined into content development. So I still work with clients and patients directly, let's say 3 to 5 hours a week. And I think that informs everything, because I'm learning what the client themselves are struggling with. Then I can take all of my 25 years of doing that, translate it into training for professionals, which I've done, and we've refined it very clearly in the last year in these 4 specific areas of women's health. And then now it's a matter of communicating what is inside those programs. So I don't need to rewrite my program every 5 minutes. I just need to optimize it and then explain to people what it is. and I think that explanation, I know because I also coach the students. So I spend 3 hours a week directly teaching, and I spend 3 to 5 hours a week working with people who are struggling with these issues. And I think that, combined with my experience and having put these kinds of courses together for, 16 years now, that is the worthy work. And then the next level of worthy work is who is going to communicate it. And what better person than myself, along with people, sometimes people on my team, we invite sometimes our students to share those communications. But I know these courses inside and out. I've been reading all the research, I've been writing all the courses, I've been working with the patients. I think that definition, that idea of worthy work, of communicating it, because fewer people are going to take the course if they don't know it exists or don't know what's in it.
Right.
So,
Right. And then
yeah.
it makes sense, because it's also, it's actually more productive for you to do it, because it would take all the training for, like you said, you had a copywriter, they were writing kind of generically in certain ways and things like that you mentioned in your form. And, while they were good, it also is like, this could be even better. How can we make it?
Yeah. And, I think that we all know that we're in a world of AI copywriting right now. And what I think is so great about that is if you if you just don't know where to start, you just get something on paper. Because sometimes I'm a better editor than I am a writer. So you get, any AI to just write something. It's going to be terrible. But then you go through it in the structure, and you think about what your students need to learn, what questions do your clients or your customers have, how does the course answer that, and if it doesn't, fix the course, so you don't really need more than that, like jump start to get something on paper, and then you've basically explained exactly how to do it from there.
Yeah, and then we also have the framework to, if you use AI, we have the whole framework that you can use to audit that email to make sure it's converting, right? And to make sure that it's going to sell. So
Yeah.
good. My final question is, what is something you would share with someone considering the program?
I would say that, again, I've been doing this a long time and we've been collecting data for a long time. And the reality is that while social media will get you a certain platform, and if you want that, you should do that because, committing to that will get you a certain kind of platform. But it's not, if you want the most efficient business that makes you money and you don't really, and you do the work that you really want to do, and you don't care that much about having sort of a, internet famous kind of platform, this is going to be the most efficient thing you can do to have the biggest impact, make the most money with the least amount of work. And as a person who just turned 50, I want to be able to do this for like 30 more years in a really easy, gentle way. And so I don't want to be tied to my phone.
So true. So good. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to work with you, where can they find you?
Our website is integrativewomenshealthinstitute.com, and they can work with me directly as a client or join our professional programs or just follow us at Integrative Women's Health. And anything you sign up for will get you on our email list. And if you just want to, see how I write copy, you can do that there.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you, and this was such a good talk.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.